The forest trembles under the weight of bodies moving high above their shadows, flickering across the golden savanna floor. A storm brews in the distance, but here, 7 million years ago, life clings not to the earth, but to the trees. Australopithecus, lean and lithe, flow through branches with a precision that seems almost divine. Fingers curl around bark toes, spread like a second set of hands, torsos swaying as if born from the wood itself. The ground below is a place of peril, where lions crouch, hyenas patrol, and snakes coil, but above, in the labyrinth of branches, survival takes a different form. Tonight, that survival will be tested. A female belly, swollen with impending birth, lingers behind as the band forages in the canopy. She plucks figs swollen with sugar, presses them to her lips, her breath shallow with pain. The others glance back, aware. But hunger pushes them forward. Each fruit harvested is a victory against the gnawing emptiness of their stomachs. Each leaf gathered a shield against hunger. Thunder rolls closer. The sky bruises into violet lightning, clawing at the horizon. The trees shudder under the wind's first lash branches, groaning like ancient drums. The band clings tighter, pressing bodies against trunks as rain lashes their skin. A storm is more than water. It is broken branches, sudden falls, predators emboldened by chaos. They must climb higher, weaving into the canopy's heart, where trunks interlock like fortress walls. Yet danger follows even there. A leopard slinks silently through the branches, its body a ripple of muscle and hunger. The band freezes, eyes, wide nostrils flaring with the acrid scent of predator. One male grabs a stone shard carried in a bundle of leaves, striking it against bark to spark noise, a desperate signal. The leopard pauses, ears twitching. Another Australopithecus hurls a branch, the weapon whirling through wet air. It misses, but the movement buys precious seconds. The storm's fury rises, branches snapping like bones, and the leopard withdraws into shadow, waiting for weakness. The female cries out, body racked with contractions. Birth begins not in shelter, but in chaos. The tree swaying beneath the storm. The band encircles her, shielding with their bodies, their hands pressing leaves against slick skin, their faces taut with urgency. Lightning splits the sky. Below, predators howl, their voices carried on the wind. Above, new life claws its way into existence, gasping its first breath in a cradle of leaves. The storm rages, but the cries of infant and mother rise louder, defiant against the thunder. This is survival in its rawest form, life clinging to branches, refusing to fall. Yet, even as relief washes through the band, the leopard's eyes still gleam in the distance. Hunger unresolved, promising the conflict is far from over. Dawn bleeds slowly across the horizon, painting the soaked canopy in hues of gold and ash. The band, exhausted from the night's ordeal, cradles the newborn with trembling arms, their eyes hollow yet shining with the fire of endurance. The storm has stripped branches, scattered fruit, and left the forest floor littered with debris that crackles under unseen paws. Hunger gnaws again, merciless, as the leopards stare and necessity drives them into motion. They climb deeper into the canopy, searching for figs, nuts, and tender shoots. But the storm's wrath has emptied much of the feast. The younger ones tug at vines and chew bark, desperate for sustenance, while elders scrape lichen from damp branches, bitter but life-giving. The newborn's wail echoes through the branches, a fragile beacon that could lure death. Far below, the savanna awakens under the storm's aftermath. Herds stir uneasily, crocodiles bask at swollen riverbanks, and vultures spiral above carcasses torn apart by the flood. Yet, for Australopithecus, the ground remains forbidden, a world of danger they are bound to evade. Still, desperation pushes the boundary. One male descends cautiously, grasping bark with hands and feet, clutching a sharpened stone. He scavenges fallen fruits, bruised but edible, stuffing them into leaves folded into crude bundles. Each second is a gamble, for the scent of his sweat mingles with the musk of predators drawn to storm's bounty. A rustle erupts in the tall grass. Hyenas emerge, jaws slavering, eyes glinting with hunger. The male scrambles upward, arms pumping, legs trembling as the pack leaps, snapping at his heels. His comrades above scream without words, showering branches and stones downward. The hyenas snarl and scatter, circling below, but the band pulls him into safety, wrapping arms tight around him. His bundles burst, spilling fruit across the branches, and the group devours them greedily, the taste of survival sweet and fleeting. Yet there is no respite. From the shadows of the canopy, the leopard returns, more relentless now, its body coiled for violence. It moves silently, eyes locked on the newborn, for predators sense weakness. The band bristles, hearts pounding, hands gripping stone shards and heavy branches. They cluster around the infant, forming a trembling wall of flesh and bone. The leopard crouches, its muscles quivering, then launches. The clash explodes in a frenzy of screams and roars, branches snapping under the violence. A male swings his stone with savage force, striking air as claws rip across his chest. Another jams a branch forward, driving splinters into the predator's muzzle. The leopard thrashes, teeth bared, tail lashing like a whip. The newborn wails, the band shrieks. The canopy shakes with primal fury. For a heartbeat, survival teeters on the edge. Blood and rain mingling on ancient bark. The battle has only begun, and the trees themselves seem to shudder under the weight of fate. The struggle rages, as though the canopy itself has become an arena of gods and beasts. The leopard, maddened by hunger, claws through the defensive circle, its fangs grazing the fragile bundle of leaves where the newborn lies. In that instant, the band surges as one. A female leaps forward, her body colliding with the predator, forcing it sideways onto a trembling branch. Another male drives his sharpened stone downward, the shard cutting flesh enough to shock the animal. Blood spatters against bark, mixing with rainwater dripping from broken leaves. The leopard, snarling in rage and pain, slashes wildly, sending one Australopithecus tumbling, arms flailing, before another grasps him, saving him from plunging into the void below. The predator retreats, body shaking, eyes still burning with the fire of survival, but its courage falters. Beaten not by strength alone, but by the unity of the band, it slinks back into the shadows, vanishing into the dripping canopy. For a long moment silence reigns. Breathless, bloodied, and trembling, the band gathers close around the newborn, who cries, still weak yet unbroken, his voice rising above the hush of the forest. Relief comes not in laughter, but in the solemn recognition that life has endured where death had nearly claimed them. As the storm-washed morning stretches into day, the band begins to move again, slower, now bodies aching, but spirits bound by the trial they have survived. They climb toward higher ground where sun pierces the canopy and trees stand strong, offering fruit and leaves untouched by the storm's violence. Here they pause, sharing what they gather, feeding the newborn's mother first, her strength fragile, but rising with each mouthful. Around her, the others eat in turn, no one hoarding, no one forgotten. They press herbs onto wounds, wrap leaves around bleeding gashes, and drink rainwater cupped in broad fronds. Pain lingers, but it is tempered by resilience. As the sun tilts westward, shadows stretch long across the savanna below. Yet up in the trees, the band rests in rare peace. Some groom each other's fur, picking insects with slow, deliberate tenderness. Others cradle the infant, rocking gently in the rhythm of the branches. When the first laugh bursts, short, raw, unexpected, it spreads, rolling through the group like fire chasing dry grass. They laugh at survival, at defiance, at the absurdity of still being alive when everything seemed lost. Their voices rise a chorus woven into the forest's breath. In that laughter, the leopard's shadow fades. The storm's memory softens, and the newborn's cries transform into the rhythm of continuity. Here, in this cradle of leaves and bark, a legend is born: humans who never left the trees, whose survival was not in conquering the earth, but in mastering the sky above it. And so high among the branches, 7 million years ago, the myth of endless climbing begins, an origin written not in stone, but in the sway of the trees. The defiance of storms and the unity of fragile bodies bound together against all odds.